Shalom, Krew Mode Bear Actual. And Kyle M. Hey, brother, are you in Alaska? You out there doing good? Welcome to my live stream. This is one of those impromptu. That's why the number 5 is in there, because usually when I decide to do one, I give it about 5 minutes and then I'm online. Oh, hi from Somerset, UK. Well, welcome. And Tuck 33, what are you up to today? There's Sawson. Nice. I wanted to check in with y'all first before I go into my little talk. There is NWA Prepper. You must have got my Instagram notice. How are you doing, brother? I know you're still prepping. That's pretty impressive. There's the Greek Homestead. Hello, long time no see. Hope everything in Greece is doing great. Look at that messy hair, as usual. It's prep day, y'all. For us Torah keepers, it is prep day. We are to kind of get all our stuff organized. And I'm doing that. I already washed the dishes this morning and I did my morning chores, and then I have a plan this afternoon to make beef and barley soup for my Shabbat meal to, share with the congregation. How am I? I'm doing well. Clean bill of health. Told I was very healthy, even though I had Rocky Mountain spotted fever earlier in the year. Day to day, I got this via YouTube. Okay, good. I'm glad you'll see. You're going to get one on Instagram too, but it's good that there was a sort of YouTube still on it to let people know that when you go live. Fall is in the air. It's crisp. It's a rainy, overcast day, and I'm wearing a sweatshirt and a long sleeve shirt, and then another shirt under that. So we are in full get ready for winter mode here on the mountain. Prepped yesterday. I won't be home till sundown. Soup sounds fantastic. Praise the Father, I got a notification YouTube as well. Excellent. So is it like summertime where you are? Is Greece like opposite us, or is winter rolling in for you guys too? I hate to be geographically a little bit ignorant, but all I know is that Greece is normally thought of as very sunny and warm. So we're going to roll into Shabbat, and I'm ready. I did post a notice or two that this week especially, I've been working on my shed, and my son is here and is helping also. And he and I both have been up there for 3 to 4 hours, which I know is not full time. Don't get all upset, everybody. Yeah, okay, tell us about the new shed. Okay, so I'm doing that. You sent that ESP message to me and I picked up on it, Colson. It is a garden shed, as I've said many, many times in the video. We have a garden, and you saw in the videos and the shorts and everything, there's black plastic and buckets and things up there. The garden was first time, full time, that whole area. And so with everything that's been going on with us, we did not have time to do a lot of gardening up there, and the weeds got away from us and so on. And there's a lot of stuff up there. There's some tools and so on. And so we went on up there and we started that shed, and a brother in the faith got me those pallets from a store. And they're bigger than normal. They're almost 8 feet long, not quite. And so I like to use them for framing because I'm a girl, and I know you can lay out framing on a floor and then just kind of stand it up and you have walls already made. But in my mind, for me, using those pallets is like having those walls already framed, even though they're not as good, not as sturdy, but you can make them more sturdy, right? And please comment and question and whatever. Very similar weather, full on autumn, heading to winter, right on. Yeah. So it's getting cooler. I was just wondering the other day. There we go. So those stood there for what, almost all summer long, for those of you who are on the channel regularly. And then with the cool weather coming, that I usually want to do more outdoorsy things because there's not as much bugs, not as much heat, not as much sun beating down on you. And so after Sukkot, I'm trying to hit these projects that I want to get done as fast as I can because there's more in line after it. And I'm one of those people, I don't like having the constant, oh, I got a list of 10 things. I like to do like number one's out, and then number two's done, and then number three. Am I recording this on a brick? I assume. I mean, it's an old phone. I've got an outdated phone, but there's nothing wrong with it except it's not great with the reception and everything. Anyway, went and got the siding, went and got the OSB. We have tar paper here. We had staplers here, staples, screws. I have my own drill and driver. I have a whole set of tools that I keep ready for me because sometimes I'm doing fencing, sometimes I'm doing building, sometimes I'm working on my greenhouse. And so I've got a whole set of tools for me. And so took them up there, started putting stuff together, started tacking on things, putting rafters in, purlins, etc. And now we've got it sided 3 sides. So that was, I have a video coming on that, but I wanted to wait until we got a little bit farther along. But it's doing pretty good. Props to doing Sukkot. I hope it was everything to you. This year's Sukkot was amazing for me. I don't know if I talked about it in another live stream. And if you guys did Sukkot, raise your hand or put some kind of note there in the comments, please. It's really weird because I'm getting 6 people in the chat and then like 22 people in the chat and then 8 people in the chat and 4 thumbs up. Now 2. There we go. Thanks, Krew. Yeah, so there's 2 of you in there. I don't know. Maybe because the weather was kind of weird. Yeah, Sasson did Sukkot. This Sukkot was the most spirit-filled in a positive way that we've had in a long time. It began with really nice spiritual blessings and stuff, and it just carried on throughout. The sisters and brothers who participated were great. We did several different things. We did a breakfast at dinner time thing and a game night and a trip to see a local museum and just all sorts of stuff. Thanks, NWA Prepper, for letting me know that you're still there. Now it says 5, so like, I don't know. I don't know if you're getting actually kicked out of the chat or if the chat's just slow. Yeah. So Greek Hum said you did Sukkot? That's awesome. How did that go for you? And then Sukkot, the last day, was another blessing. We did a wine and cheese tasting, and that was because we got a lot of rain this spring. I had grapes, and so I got to make wine again, which I like, and share it with the brethren and the sisterin. And usually I get a thumbs up from them. It's very sweet. That's the one thing about the wine that I make from the grapes here. It's very sweet, and it's not everybody's flav. But I had been given some wine by another sister, and so that was part of the tasting. And that wine was made from muscadines, and it was much drier. And so people liked that who liked dry wine. So we had a really nice experience on the day we did the tastings. And so it just ended very well. And even in the middle of it, going to the museum, one of the curators there made a comment about one of the sisters, because we were a group, had Yeshua on the front of her t-shirt. And he looked at it and said, well, it's really nice to see someone wearing a t-shirt with his actual name on it. And so that led to a whole little exchange where we found out that that curator was also Torah observant and knew all about Sukkot and, you know, keeping Sabbath and everything. And that was just sort of a nice touchstone. So it was great. My grapes didn't taste good this year, said NWA Prepper. Mine never taste good if I just take them right off the vine. But once you throw in, tons and tons of sugar, all of a sudden they taste great. Hey, Sue, shalom. Definitely not my tribe, but was cool meeting a different vibe, but still spirit-filled. Well, that's awesome. No, that was pressed by accident. Oh, you didn't. Oh, I'm sorry. Sukkot was a blessing this year, getting to meet a new assembly. They were great. Well, that's always a good thing. That's always a good thing, to meet other believers, even if it's just in passing. Would you guys like to hear a story of something like that happened to us in the past? If you do, put a yes in the comments. And I can wait. Hey, Silver Main's here. Hey, lady. All right, see you later, NWA. Thanks for coming by. All right, I'm getting some yeses. That's good. So I was in another state with a family of believers. We were hanging out together, and we were just about to leave the little town we were in and up pull someone else to the same gas kiosk that we're at. And one of the kids that I was with elbows me and says, "Hey, look, it says Yahweh on the back of their car, like a bumper sticker." And I said, "Oh man, we've got to talk to these people. We got to connect and let them know." They were coming back from a different feast. I'm trying to remember if it was Passover. It might have been Passover. And they got gas, but then they pulled around the back of the gas station. And so we were done, and we pulled in behind them, and we hopped out, knocked on the window, and said, "Look, we're not creepers. We noticed your sticker, and we're Torah keepers too." And so out they pile out of their minivan, and out we pile out of the minivan we were in. And they had about 3 children who had the same name as the family that I was with. 3 of the children both had the same name in both families, and they were all about the same age. And so the kids had sort of a little run around and throw some rocks while the adults just kind of, touched the antennas, and come to find out that they were a different flavor. But on their way home from a feast, and homeschooling family, and just so many things similar. And the moms exchanged information to stay in touch. And so that was just like a special moment, like a little spirit blessing for the ending of that feast as well. So yeah, it can happen anywhere at any time, and it's really nice. It kind of uplifts you when that happens. When you see someone wearing tzitzit, or you see someone with a Yeshua or a Sukkot t-shirt on. There's Colleen Rodimer. Hello from North Texas. Are you getting rain right now, lady? Has anybody else had an experience like that? If you have, go ahead and share it in the comments. We had shofars answering our blasts at our Sukkot park. See? It was really cool. There's a nice feeling about that when you know other people see a truth and believe the same truth that you do. And so I'm gonna just kind of introduce the next part of the live, unless one of you wants to tell another story. Silvermane told one. If anyone else has any, I was in the hardware store and then a guy came in, singing the Shema or something story. I'm trying not to move around, and had so many stopping by to talk about Sukkot. Oh, that's awesome. I'm trying not to move around a lot, because I noticed when I do that and I see the live stream later, I pixelate myself, because my service right where I am is not that great. So that's why I'm trying to hold pretty still. I'm not a robot. I'm not AI. I am SK. You people who've seen me know. Met a coworker because we were both skipping the pulled pork catered meal work was provided. Ha ha! That's another dead giveaway, right? Somebody asking, do you have turkey bacon or like beef bacon? What are the ingredients in this? Is this gelatin fish gelatin, or is this pork gelatin in this, this jello or whatever? That dead giveaway, right? I love that you guys shared those. All right. So something else I have seen in this last, month after Sukkot was over, there is a new series out on one of it's either Amazon or Netflix, called The Promised Land. And it is a comedic take on the Old Testament, but it also hits many, many factual points of the Old Testament. And if you're in our walk, you've been through that when you do your Torah portion studies. You've been through the Old Testament several times. And so key factors that are going to come up if someone's actually doing, their series on the Old Testament. What stories and things you're going to be looking for. And so they've got a character, not a character, but like the character of Korah, of Miriam, of Aaron, of Hur, all those guys. And they have to kind of condense the action of those characters. Like they can't go verse by verse. So they're kind of condensing them, but they're hitting Old Testament points like water from a rock and the manna falling from the sky and non-Hebrews being mixed in with the Hebrews when they come out. And it was real. I liked it. I know some people will be offended and say that you really shouldn't, have a comedic look at the Bible. And yet you reach another audience when you look at it from different angles, and they're not being blasphemous. And they're not really being, there's a little paganism, but if you're a Torah keeper, you can like weed that out. So it's like weeding out the stuff that, they're doing just to make the thing. Gotta go, love y'all. Okay, see you and thanks for dropping by. But it's nice to see a human side. It makes it very human to watch the series. And I think there's only been 4 shows so far. I'm going to keep watching it until they do something flat out blasphemous, and then I'll stop. But I am really excited, or not excited. I'm enjoying it right now. It's like another little taste of the Lord coming from a different angle. Let's see. If more people would just read, they would learn so much, as we all do. Even rereading it, we learn. Absolutely. Have any of you even looked into? I'll be watching it now, Colleen said. I guess no one's found it out yet or tried it. What's the name of it, SK? It's called The Promised Land. And it's not a cartoon. It's a real people. As a matter of fact, one of the actors in that show is also in the show Chosen. And Chosen is on Angel Network, but it's also on Prime Video, I think, right now. And their season 5 is out. A little late, but glad to catch a live stream. Well, welcome, George 51515. I don't watch TV, etc., but I'll watch it now. Well, I watch it on my phone. I'm assuming that if you have some kind of service, your TV will get you Prime or Netflix. But I don't know if it's on, I don't know how that works, the streaming. Yeah. And so if you haven't watched The Chosen yet, it is much, they took the material seriously, and it's about Yeshua's walk, New Testament. Very well acted, and they are so much closer to the truth of the Bible in The Chosen than like the Ten Commandments movie or Jesus Christ Superstar, or so many Bible-based movies and TV shows before now. The Chosen is really, Yeshua is not some Mormon guy. He looks very Mediterranean. All the disciples look Mediterranean. They're in the actual, I won't say they're in Jerusalem, but they're in a rocky, deserty place, the settings, and they have real tents, and, just, it's a much closer version than I've seen before. And they also say shalom to each other, and they have the whole thing with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, and they're not just one-dimensional. They've done a really good job of looking into the costuming and the customs and how they act and all that. And so I would recommend, if you haven't seen The Chosen, you should do that too. Hey, Kentucky Prepper. We're just talking about the post-Sukkot time frame and different things that have been going on. I talked about my shed, but also these series that I'm watching that are another way to see Yeshua and Yahweh in real life. He does look Mediterranean. I think he's Lebanese, partially, right? And that is right, that part of the world there versus Malibu, California, and some, surfer guy acting the role of Yeshua, or a guy with a Scottish accent, or things like that. I think Mel Gibson really started the ball rolling for movies to be more accurate when he did Passion of the Christ. I think because he got such a huge audience and so many people watched Passion of the Christ, stood in line at movie theaters and everything to see it, that other directors and people realized, hey, we can do realistic Bible stories and versions, and people still want to watch it. So what else is going on with you all? I did start to talk about winterizing the mountain, because there's a huge difference between the heat of summer and the cool of winter here. There'll be a lot more chainsawing going on here. There will be some prep for Shemitah. I'm pretty sure Shemitah starts for us this December. And so we have gardens and things that we're going to have to put to bed, that will not be tended for an entire year. Excuse me. There's also animal stuff to consider. Excuse me again. I have cut down on my goat herd. I have taken some of the goats to auction, not because I didn't like them. They were perfectly fine, but we had one Billy too many and a couple of extra nannies that I really didn't want to have to take care of. So I pared those guys down. My personal chicken flock is down to about nine hens, give or take, maybe a few more, maybe 13 hens, because I don't need to keep 30. I don't need to have tons of eggs being produced, and they produce pretty well for being off grid. Like, they don't have a heat lamp in their coop or anything like that, but my birds do tend to produce eggs almost year round. And so I've reduced my flock there. I have pretty much emptied out everything in the garden that I can that didn't get eaten. I'm still getting a few tomatoes, but I'm sure that won't last long. And I've put the plastic back on my greenhouse. There are a few plants still alive in there. There are some herbs and collard green that made it through the summer. There's an little olive bush in there, and the pawpaws of my friend Nancy. Oh gosh, look at this. I got to go back. There, Silvermane. Silvermane knows Nancy. My friend Nancy gave me some pawpaw trees, and they're in there, but come November, I will plant them out with the other pawpaws that are here. Get them out of the greenhouse and into the area where there are more, because I guess pawpaw trees really like each other. They like, I won't say hanging out, but like they grow together well. Most trees do, though, right? Anyway, we are going to try a first Shemitah year this coming year. I know there's no planting in the garden, but I'm not sure what else can and cannot be done. Well, I know this, if you have things that grow on your land, like my blackberry bushes, I can eat the blackberries, but I can't process them. So if I want a few in my cereal bowl, I can do that. But I can't make jam out of them during Shemitah. Same with anything else that grows wild here. And it's the same in your garden. Like if for some reason you have something like I have onions that will be growing next year, I can eat the onions, but I can't like take them all out and freeze them or process them. I think we can still kill weeds, not so much in the garden, but we've got like bigger grounds than that. And I think it'll be okay for us to kind of kill weeds, but we probably won't plant any new trees or do anything like that. Shemitah is to give the land and yourself a rest. So growing your own food, I think, is the main rest for us. Like even if we have lambs or goats or whatever born, if we wanted to eat one, we would just eat one to feed ourselves, not like butcher it and then can the whole thing or stick it all in the freezer. And I'm sure on shofarmountain.com, my husband's probably got at least one sermon on there about it. All you got to do is enter Shemitah into the search and his video should come up. Nancy is such a sweet lady, and she still needs some prayers for her family. Yeah, she's an impressive person. She's so productive. I'm going to plant pawpaws in late winter, says Colleen. My blackberries never get into the house. We eat them before we can get them into the house. I like my blackberries too. All right, well, y'all, I'm going to shut this thing down now. I've been talking almost half an hour, and I do enjoy it, but I need to get in there and make that soup I was talking about. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Somewhere on that YouTube homepage for my channel, there's a community tab. I think it might be within the post tab, but I'm not sure. And I found it the other day and saw other people's comments in there. And they were like a year or two old, and I felt really bad that I hadn't seen it in there before. Maybe you have to be on a computer to see that. But you guys can post there if you can find it, and I would love to hear from you there too. You too. I'm glad I got to see you because I miss seeing you. Silvermane Biz is such a sweetie too. All y'all are though. And blessings to you too. I hope Yahweh blesses us all and we have a great Shabbat. Looking forward to it. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Bless you. Shalom.